Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located right here at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Give them a call at 405-685-7773 for a to-go order, or dine in and experience the best Mexican restaurant on this side of Oklahoma City. And don't forget, $5 margaritas on Wednesdays. It's the best medicine to get you over that hump day. And don't forget to let Abel know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you for an additional 10% off your entire purchase. The best Mexican food on this side of town. So don't forget San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, the only restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
A piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 218. Welcome to a brand new episode, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the guys. Edward.
What's up, folks? Y'all doing good?
Zach.
Hey, what's up? Are we part of the Magnificent Seven? I'm not sure. We're going to find out.
Not yet. We are not a part of the Magnificent Seven, but we are a
Tres
part.
benditos.
There we go. Bilingual, fun, educational. But guys, is everybody having a magnificent 7th Monday of November?
Can't complain. Start of the work week, so we will find out.
First off, sir, your double entendre there is on point.
That's why he picked this movie, so he could just do as many puns as he could.
Hey, check this out. It's Monday, November the 7th. It's Magnificent 7. But not only is it Magnificent 7, it's the start of Denzel month.
Oh.
All but next week, we're talking about a Denzel movie every single week of November. But the thing that's kind of, I don't know if it's bittersweet, but guys, there's less than 2 months left of this year.
Oh, man. It's crazy.
Not even 60 full days, dude.
Not 60 full days. We are going to talk about what's coming up in December. If you guys don't follow us on the social media, what the hell is the matter with you? Because everybody has a social media nowadays except for Zach.
Because I refuse to be a human being.
What's the matter with you?
He was born in 1922, and he still has a very good, charming spirit about him. But no, for real, if you guys haven't followed us yet, go find us on the social media, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Instagram is all one word, Instagram/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Twitter is at Cine-Men405, and then the email is cinemen921@gmail.com. We read the email bag every single Monday. Not this Monday. Life has kind of slung me out the door and rang me a few times this past week. So we will talk, and I will go through emails this week, and I'll read the email bag next week. Because, guys, the email bag is going to be very important next week. You guys know what we're talking about next week, right?
What's that?
Black Panther Wakanda Forever next Monday. So the email bag is going to be very, very girthy.
Yep.
So we're not going to read it this week, but we do have a lot of other stuff to get to. So I can't wait for some of that stuff. But if you guys did not listen to us last week, by all means, go check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, um, Prescribed Films Network, hashtag the PFPN. Just visit www.prescribedfilms.com and you can find us there every single uh, every single Monday, every single episode. You can find us there as well. So yeah, you can listen to us literally anywhere.
There's no excuse.
No excuse. You can watch us live here on Imasawa Productions YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen it yet, this past Friday, Craig and I joined the 100,000 subscriber video live stream that we did on Friday. So if you guys want to go back and watch that and see some funny stuff, go back and check that out on this YouTube channel. Brand new videos hit every single day. So, but we'll get ready to talk about spooky season. Last week we talked Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. We also had a funny conversation about the library. So if you guys want to go back and listen to that, listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts at. Hashtag the library, right?
I went back and listened to that segment of the show. Oh my god, it was awesome. And the fact that you were so surprised, he said you were just like, Bullet Train just came out on Tuesday. How does that happen?
And that episode has well over 7,000 downloads on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Spotify. And then on YouTube, it has on Imasawa Productions over 1.6 thousand views on YouTube. So go check it out. It was a fun conversation. Halloween 4, spooky season came to an end. Do you guys have any thoughts on spooky season and how much fun it was to talk a different horror movie every week?
It was fun. I mean, I think last year we skipped it because we just had so many brand new releases. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Is like if you think about what we were doing this time last year, we just got done with No Time to Die, Halloween Kills, Dune. I think actually this time last year, Johnny, me and you were talking Eternals. So it's kind of hard to believe that we've talked about all that and much, much more. But I think our fans or our listeners do like the horror season just because it just gives we can focus on one genre of film. And I think especially us as film fans, we enjoy talking horror. So what about you, Ed?
Horror season or spooky season, whichever you want to call it, is always one of my favorite times of the year. It's almost a gravitating event, if you will. I didn't get to do all of it this year that I wanted to because of outside happenings, but watching all those movies and all that still gotta love it. Whether it was Signs or Halloween Ends or anything like that for that matter. Always love to have a few horror moments, so it's always fun.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff getting ready to come up that we'll talk about, but until then, Zach.
Speaking of fun, let's talk about our good friends over at Rodeo Cinema, located at 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They are Oklahoma's unique non-for-profit art house movie theater located in the stockyards of Oklahoma. They've got a lot of great content right now. Right this month, they're celebrating Indigenous people with different films like Blood Quantum. You can go see The Banshees of Inisherin, which is going to be an Oscar contender later this year.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran, yeah. Silent Sundays, which is a new thing that they're doing this Sunday, November the 13th, Modern Times, the Charlie Chaplin classic with the live music and sound effects. American Psycho, which will be on Thursday, November 17th at 8 o'clock, and much, much more. So go check them out, Rodeo Cinema, and tell them that the Cine-Men movie podcast sent you.
Nice. Zach, if you had something cold and tasty, you probably wouldn't be coughing like that, right?
And you're talking to Edward, not Zach, so there's that. But nah, man, Oklahoma City Soda, OKC Soda Company. What can you say about these guys? I mean, cane sugar, all natural, simple as that. They don't use the high fructose and all that, the stuff that rhymes with gross. You know what I mean? They don't use that junk. their whole distribution that actually has different ones in what is that, Homeland, Crest for that matter. They've got a ton of different flavors. Just on the screen right there, you see orange cream soda, root beer, cherry limeade. Man, there are so many different great flavors out there that honestly I think you should try. It is a wonderful company, and that is part of the reason why we like to be sponsored by them. So yeah, go grab yourself some OKC soda cans for that matter. Yeah, it's awesome.
Ed, I know you enjoy soda, but I didn't think you enjoyed it that much to. I think you really want to swim in it sometimes.
Man, I mean, don't get me wrong, that strawberry shortcake, that stuff is delicious. Delicious.
Um, yeah.
Delicioso.
So I wanted to bring this up just because I could not wait for Zach's face to just look the way it's going to after I mention this. But Warner Brothers is reportedly in pre-production or trying to get in place of pre-production of a massive budget for Twister Part 2.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
All these many years later,
The Extreme.
what do you guys think? And it's supposed to be a direct sequel from the 1996 movie.
I mean, we've had two F5s in that time from then till now, so there's that. She survived May 3rd. She got, kind of thing. Like, that's one of the biggest things around here.
Zach, what do you think?
It doesn't really surprise me. I mean, I've heard about this, that they're trying to get Twister 2 off the ground, literally and figuratively. But I mean, it, in the age that we're in with these requels and all kinds of different stuff, it doesn't surprise me. Will I go see it? Hell yeah, it's Twister. It's
Hell
Twister.
yeah.
I'm not going to say no to that. But I just, with Bill Paxton gone, Philip Seymour Hoffman gone, I don't think. I've heard reports that they may not bring Helen Hunt back, which I don't know who else from the legacy characters you could bring back. But if any of them, it's going to be her. But I mean, we'll see. If they make a good movie, anything can happen.
They should just do what Warner Brothers and everybody else does with other reboots and just put Chris Pratt in it. He looks like he could be a
good
LeBron.
Yeah, bring in LeBron.
Look, no, let's not go that far, man. Let's not go that far.
Chris Pratt will be in it.
Probably,
My father done the last one.
This is the only thing else I wanted to bring up, and then you guys can bring anything else up if you want to. But James Gunn is reportedly butting heads already with Dwayne Johnson as far as where the DC should be going. So I'm guessing. I mean,
Trouble in Paradise. Oh my gosh.
So this is where does Dwayne Johnson have too much say so? Or if you want it to be like Marvel, guess what? Nobody butts heads with Kevin Feige.
No.
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson, he has, I don't know if you guys know this, he has a contract saying he can't lose in any fight. He's got to look strong. He's got to win and everything. It's just like, dude, like Black Adam. I almost forgot the name of the movie. Black Adam. It'd be a better movie if there's some stakes. If this character could die, that it would make a better storyline. But the fact that he literally destroys everything in its path, there's really no say in the matter. And I think, from what I understand, Johnny, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think James Gunn said he has a lineup ready to go for DC. So,
because I mean, you've even got Superman over there, Henry Cavill, looking like he can take a lot of abuse. But at the same time, he has that moral stake that's at play with him. He has because there was several times against Zod and his little cronies that you felt, man, can Superman actually? They're trained. He's not. Can he actually do this? And his knowledge of the world won him a lot of it. But at the same time, him foregoing his morals for just a quick second is what eventually won the day, So it's at the same time that, Black Adam might be a very, very powerful character, but nonetheless, you have to have that either moral or physical destruction of that character to a point, even.
And that's fine. I think you know, I know you guys haven't seen Black Adam, but I mean, just judging by the trailers, he has the physical aspect to go up against Superman. You know, it's moral versus strength. That's what it is, basically.
And I mean, don't wrong. We all eventually know it's going to happen.
And it's different ideology. Well, I mean, if James Gunn is trying to do his thing and trying to get DC on the correct course, and Dwayne Johnson's not, you know, this is my character, this is how I want it to be, then it may not happen, you know?
Yeah.
Then done wrong, as the executives or the whatevers, they need to step in and be like, you are the actor, you are not over everything. He is over everything that we appointed him.
Exactly.
Stay in your lane. Shut your mouth and know your role, jabroni.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But that's the only thing I wanted to bring up. Like I said, if you guys have anything, we can. But
I got one thing, and I was just going to bring up, because we haven't got a chance to talk about it. We should probably just save it, because we're going to talk Marvel and Black Panther next week. The Harrison Ford casting as General Ross, since William Hurt passed away. What do we think about Harrison Ford joining the MCU?
I mean,
is it too late? Is it just right?
It should have been done. I think it should have been done a while ago. He's a Disney with Gesundheit. I think he should have been like cast maybe a while ago.
Yeah,
because he's Harrison Ford. He's a Disney guy. You know, I'm sure his contract from some Lucasfilms came over when Star Wars was purchased.
Yeah. So, I think he's a good fit. I mean, you know, I think he'll be a good General Ross. So I think his first film is gonna be Thunderbolts, which I think is like Florence Pugh and who's the guy from the Winter Soldier? It was Kurt Russell's kid.
Oh, Dollar General Russell.
Dollar General Russell.
But anyway, let's get into some recent watches. Ed, do you have anything that you want to recommend for anybody this past week, or was life busy and Dick slapped you too?
Dollar General Russell. Sorry,
man.
That's a T-shirt.
It sounds like a choo-choo train. I got to actually watch every single Harry Potter film.
Because they put them back on HBO Max.
Well,
or did you buy them?
Voodoo. You got them. Voodoo. They're on my Voodoo.
Yep.
Voodoo. You know, kind of practicing and all that, kind of like I showed you earlier. But other than that, those two things have mainly been it. So honestly, what do I recommend? 1 through 7, part 2, baby. Every single one of them, all 8. Get it done.
I actually got to watch quite a bit this past week, more than I normally do. So,
me too.
I checked out the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I got to rewatch that for the final Friday the 14th podcast of the year. You guys can go check that episode out where you listen to this episode at AudioWise, or watch it on Imisawa Productions. Zach, you'll probably find this funny, but I watched Marriage Story. I watched Marriage Story this past week. You know, taking a few notes. I tried to finish Where the Crawdads Sing.
Yeah.
From what I saw, it was okay. I need to finish it. I was just only 30 minutes in. I couldn't get into it, but it was just because of my surroundings.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had the itch to watch the original Fast and the Furious movie. Checked out Southpaw.
Oh yeah.
And watched The Magnificent Seven for this episode. But I also watched these two movies. I watched on streaming: Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler, and I checked out Barbarian finally.
Oh yeah.
So I don't have any complaints about Barbarian, but maybe it's just the hype that was surrounding Barbarian. I thought it was just okay.
I will go into mine because I watched Barbarian as well. I watched it on Halloween, actually.
Did you feel the same way?
I really liked it. I didn't have any expectation for it. I was just kind of like, I heard this was like pretty good. It was won the box office, whatever. And the fact that it was, I don't know how you felt about it, Johnny, but like the fact that it was just kind of like a puzzle and it kept like peeling itself back like every single time a new character got introduced. I The end results, not a lot of people are gonna like, but for me, it worked. So
Oh,
I didn't mind the end result or the peeling of the puzzle, just the payoff at the very end with the reveal and the
yeah,
flat out ending. I,
yeah,
I was like, honestly, am I watching Mama Part Two? You remember Mama?
yeah,
It felt like Mama, did it not?
yeah, yeah.
I did watch one other movie that's actually pretty new.
Nope, sorry, you already had your chance.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, the Daniel Radcliffe movie,
What's that
Yeah,
on?
the Roku
Uh,
channel.
is it really?
Yeah, the Roku channel. It's like on
Okay.
Roku or something.
But yeah, I checked that out.
I've heard good things about it.
It fits him. There are eight. If you expect this to be like a Bohemian Rhapsody or Straight Outta Compton or something like
It's
that,
from what I
it's
understand, it's more of a Dewey Cox, right? It's more of like a spoof on his
yeah,
life.
it is. And I mean, like I said, it fits him. It's an exaggeration. Because okay, I'm gonna kind of spoil a little bit, but it's gonna Madonna is a character in it, basically,
Right,
not the real one, but
right.
her likeness.
Evan Rachel Wood, yeah.
Yes, she did pretty good, actually. I've got to say, and it's basically like they had a very intimate romantic relationship with each other,
Hmm.
which has never gone past platonic in real life. So
Right.
there's that. But I mean, as far as that, it was just very exaggerated, and then it was a fun ride, though. I will say that, very fun ride, and I
I
got to
would
watch the Fluffy special. So yeah.
The
I
Fluffy
would
special.
recommend at least checking out Barbarian, as in I had a good time watching Murder Mystery. So Zach, what about you?
Yeah, just like you, Johnny, I checked out Barbarian. I want to take just a moment, and I watched Blonde on Netflix, the Marilyn Monroe movie with
I want
Ana
to see
de
that still.
Armas. Here's what I'll say about it: it's very girthy. It's 2 hours and 40 something minutes. The best part about it is Ana de Armas. I think she really does deserve an Oscar nomination for this. She looks and sounds and even the mannerisms of Marilyn Monroe right to the mark. It would not surprise me if she got a nomination and then the makeup and hairstyle would get a nomination. I don't really know much about Marilyn Monroe other than some of the obvious things, but I mean there's a lot of people out there that say this film is very exploitive of her life, which I will agree with because there's some of this movie it just doesn't really need to happen. You're kind of sitting there going like, why is this in here? Why are we doing this? I understand she was a sex symbol and all this and that, but you don't need to show that, especially with some of the dramatic happenings or some of the dramatic stuff that's happened in her life. And ultimately the movie really depicts her as being someone that was really heartbroken and she wanted to be loved as a person, not as a movie star, not as a sex symbol, but just as who she was. And so like overall I'd give it a 7. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again, but like I said, Ana de Armas, like she makes that movie. So
Hmm.
and then other than that, it's time for Denzel Overdrive. I'll just run through these films real quick. Chasing Train, which was a documentary about John Coltrane, who's a famous jazz musician. Denzel he provides the voice for John Coltrane when they're like talking about interviews and stuff. Ricochet, The Manchurian Candidate, The Great Debaters, Roman J. Israel Esquire, Antoine Fisher, and Crimson Tide. So
Nice.
just
That
going through the Denzel.
that episode is coming to you December 26th,
2 days before his birthday.
the day after Christmas. We're going to be talking our top 5 plus 5 Denzel movies. Should be pretty fun. Um, But Zach, you also have some truth facts about uh, the Magnificent Seven. If you want to get that off your chest.
Yeah. So Tom Cruise, Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Matt Damon, and Christian Bale were all considered at some point during the production for different roles. The horse that Chris Pratt rode in this film was actually the same main horse that was used in War Horse, the Steven Spielberg film. The cabin where Jack Horn lives is also featured in the 2010 True Grit, where Cogburn kicks the Native Americans off the balcony. And Chris Pratt was on the set of this film when Jurassic World was released back in 2015 to a huge box office success. Pratt said Denzel Washington teased him relentlessly, stating every morning with a box office update in the form of, quote, here's our $100 million guy, and on and on and on until the film reached $500 million.
Nice.
And those are your top 4 things you didn't know about the Magnificent Seven. Hey, getting teased by Denzel Washington, that's quite an honor.
For the success of a movie.
Yes.
That's awesome right there.
And Zach, let us know the top movies of 2016 when it comes to that box office rewind.
All right, box office rewind for the year of 2016. Number 10, The Suicide Squad with Will Smith. Number 9, Deadpool. Number 8, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Number 7, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Number 6, The Secret Life of Pets, which kind of surprises me. And check this out, guys. The top 5 grossing films of 2016 are all Disney movies.
Yep.
Number 5, The Jungle Book remake. Number 4, Zootopia. Number 3, Finding Dory. Number 2, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. And number 1, Captain America: Civil War.
Wow.
And that is your box office rewind for the year of 2016.
But now, guys, it is finally time to talk the top 5. So today we are talking our top 5 Antoine Fuqua, if I said that correctly.
Yes.
Fuqua movies. He is a fun director, and we're going to get ready to talk about him here in just a little bit. But I only have one honorable mention. If anybody else has any, go for it. I'm going to be short, sweet, and simple. My honorable mention is going to be Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. Anybody else?
No.
Nope. So let's dig into number 5. Zach, we'll start with you.
Number 5, one of the films that he has worked with on multiple occasions. Number 5 is The Equalizer, Denzel Washington, who, I'm sure he'll be sporadic through our list. The Equalizer was a remake of a CBS TV show, and I've never seen the original TV show, but this film it's a lot of fun. It's Denzel being a badass, which who does not want to see that. He basically takes on the Russian mobsters, and Chloe Grace Moretz is in it. Just a real fun movie. The second one, I think, in parts is a little bit better, and I'm very curious to see what this third one's going to be next year. So number 5, The Equalizer.
Number 5 for me is going to be a movie that I talked about in recent watches months ago. Number 5 for me is going to be Brooklyn's Finest. Corrupt cops, drug dealers, murders, undercover cops. It's fun. Wesley Snipes, Don Cheadle, Richard Gere, Ethan Hawke. Such a fun movie, and if you guys like cop thrillers, and I'm not gonna say it's nowhere near as good as The Departed, but it just has that feeling of that kind of a movie. So if you guys like undercover cop movies and dirty, snake cops, I would definitely recommend Brooklyn's Finest. Comes in at my number 5. Edward, number 5 for you.
This one is a little bit of a weird one, but I found out I haven't watched many of his movies. Number 5 is Lightning in a Bottle from 2004. It's kind of a jazz kind of not really concert or anything like that, but it's kind of it is a concert, but it's got a lot of hardcore like very influential jazz musicians from basically the past 100 years in it. Even the likes of BB King and some
Oh, was
persons from
that was his jazz documentary, correct?
but yeah,
Okay.
and it's even got like Steven Tyler and all that from Aerosmith. It's got a lot of good people. So if you like music even remotely like that, I definitely recommend that. It had a lot of good features on it. So yeah.
Nice.
Zach, number 4 for you.
Number 4 is going to be your honorable mention, Johnny Shooter, with Mark Wahlberg, Danny Glover, Michael Pena. Just a fun. Again, that's the thing about Antoine Fuqua movies is that they're fun. That's all you really need to know about his films. Basically, Marine sniper gets charged with trying to kill the president, and it's basically him trying to clear his name. The movie was so successful that they actually did like a 2-season TV show, which but yeah, Shooter's real fun. It's classic Mark Wahlberg being a badass like all the time, like
Have you
Denzel.
noticed?
So
Have you noticed they do that with his movies? They did that with Training Day, and they did that with The Equalizer
and Shooter, yeah,
and Shooter. They make TV shows out of his movies. Fucking weird, but
yeah.
we'll see.
Talent.
Um, good
I'm
number
waiting for
four.
the I'm waiting for the Infinite TV show.
Oh my gosh. Good number 4, Zach. My number 4. We won't spend too much time on it. We're talking the Magnificent Seven today. That's my number 4. Edward, number 4 for you.
Southpaw.
Mm.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Rachel McAdams, Forrest Whitaker, Jake Gyllenhaal got in fantastic shape for this movie. There's not much more I can say about it. He plays a boxer, Billy the Great Hope. And yeah, it's a little bit of a brutal movie at times, to be honest, but it's got a lot of good story into it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
and on top of that, some of the soundtrack was really, really good. So yeah, Southpaw, check it out, folks.
Zach, number 3 for you.
Number 3 is probably the only good film in this trilogy of movies. Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart. This one is more of like a serious. If we were attacked by another nation, how would they go about doing this? Especially attacking our capital. Very, very intense film. It's actually very bloody for it to be a no, it's R-rated, so that makes sense. Gerard Butler just tries to save the president, and it's kind of weird because the same year that this came out, White House Down came out with Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Olympus Has Fallen is probably the more better one, in my opinion. But really fun movie, just more action packed. Gerard Butler doing hand to hand combat, and you really hate the guys that take over the White House. Like you really want them to die horrible deaths. So number 3 is Olympus Has Fallen.
Number 3 for me is going to be The Equalizer. Zach, you had it in your honorable or in your number 5, I believe.
Mm.
You know, I'm not going to say too much on it because I think it would be a fun conversation one day. But The Equalizer to me is a better. Here comes the flack. Is a better kick-ass action film than John Wick. I don't know why, but I enjoy The Equalizer a lot better than I enjoyed John Wick. And
It's
they
the watch.
and I think it's because maybe they came around. They kind of came out around the same time.
Came out the
Uh,
same year.
yeah. So, but me personally, I always thought The Equalizer was a little bit better of a film. So that's going to be my number 3 is The Equalizer. So, Edward, number 3 for you.
Number 3 for me. Gonna go ahead and break my rule. My usual rule.
You son of a
Magnificent
bitch.
Seven. Magnificent Seven. It is, man. Go from there.
Nice. Zach, number 2 for you.
Yeah, they literally came out a month apart. Equalizer was September 26th, and John Wick was October the 24th, almost. Wow, that's great. That's crazy. Number 2 for me, Training Day. We talked about it early this year. Classic Denzel won his Oscar. I'm sure when we do our Denzel top 5+5, that will make quite numerous appearances on our list. I think is it's the classic good cop versus bad cop situation. And at the end of the day, I mean, King Kong don't have shit on me. So it's
You want to
classic
go home?
Denzel line.
You want to go home, or you want to go to
You wanna-
jail?
exactly. So number 2 is Training Day.
Number two for me has already been mentioned. Number two is going to be Southpaw. Rewatched it over the weekend. Tremendous, tremendous movie. Um, you know, like Ed, you already mentioned the cast. Forrest Whitaker. I'm going to get some more hate for this probably, but if I could do without anybody in this movie, I just I can't believe Forrest Whitaker sometimes.
I thought you were gonna say 50.
No,
I was like,
I enjoyed 50 Cent because he plays a really good douchebag.
yeah.
So I enjoyed 50 Cent in that movie, but I don't know if it's Forrest Whitaker's NyQuil Dayquil face or if I just I just couldn't believe him some points. I feel like he's the same character in everything he does. Just a soft-spoken gentleman.
Wise, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
So
plays the kind of the same character in The Great Debaters. He's kind of like that, like you said, soft spoken, very much you don't want to he doesn't want to piss anyone off, but he wants to say the right things or whatever. It's just kind of like,
same
okay, can we?
same soft-spokenness in Rogue One.
Yep.
But it's different because some people be like, "Well, that's just him how he speaks." Yeah, but you can take Morgan Freeman's soft-spoken voice, and he doesn't play the same character in every movie. So
No.
I don't know,
I'm
but
sure Denzel doesn't go around fucking screaming all the time.
number two for me is going to be Southpaw. Ed, number two for you.
Number two for me is going to be Shooter. Man, there's a lot of great things in this film, whether real or not. It still is a very, very cool film for that matter. And the end of it, oh, that snow game of cat and mouse, if you will, that was awesome. So yeah.
Number one, Zach. What's your number one Denzel movie?
Antoine Fuqua movie,
Yeah.
which is it's a Denzel movie. I'm not gonna lie. Number one is What We're Doing Today, Magnificent Seven.
Oh wow. Um, number one for me. It's been an episode. Training Day. I don't. I think this is it's not the best Denzel that I've seen, but it's up there with some of the best. Um, and it's one of those things where does the director make the movie? Does the actor make the movie? I think this was just a perfect storm. Terrific movie. Go back and listen to our Training Day episode. Number one for me is Training Day. Ed?
Number one for me is easily The Equalizer. Uh, Man, when that came out, fell in love with that, and then John Wick came out later on, of course, and fell in love with that too. But with this, John Wick seems more of the like vengeful, pissed off, like middle-aged dude. This one seems like, yeah, he's pissed off, he's vengeful, but he's calculated, he's calm, collected, cool. He's gonna kill you and know exactly the moment he's gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You're correct.
Well, guys, that is our top five Antoine Fuqua movies. If you want to send us in your top five, go ahead and send it in at CINEMEN921@gmail.com, and we'll read the email bag next week during our Black Panther episode. But today, episode 218, we are talking all about the Magnificent Seven. Currently, IMDb has it at 6.8. Rotten Tomatoes sits at 64%. The Metascore is at 54%, and the Google users have it at 87%. This is what kind of shocked me a little bit. With a $107 million budget, it only grossed $162 million at the box office with a September 23rd, 2016 release. Seven gunmen from a variety of backgrounds are brought together by a vengeful young widow to protect her town from the private army of a destructive industrialist. Starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, Vincent D'Onofrio, Martin Sensmeyer, Haley Bennett, Luke Grimes, Matt Bomber, and directed by Antoine Fuqua. So guys, we'll start with this. Um, Zach, do you remember the first time that you seen it, and what was it like then, comparing it to now for this episode?
First time I saw it in the theater. I actually watched the original 1960s version, I think, with um, Steve McQueen. Uh, the trailer really hyped me up for it. I thought it was a really good trailer, and the movie I thought it was a lot of fun. It's very fast paced, a lot of action. We'll get into it, but I mean, I just thought this was just a really phenomenal time at the theater. So
Edward, what about you? Is this the first time watch for you, or do you remember the first time you seen it?
2018.
About
It
two
was good.
years.
I about yeah 3 4 about 2 years after it, about 4 years ago. Uh, Gotta say I agree. You know, a lot of action going on in it. Kind of the modern old cowboy kind of deal.
Yeah. For me, I was able to see this 3 times in the theater, um,
damn.
and then I saw this when I bought the Blu-ray, and then I watched it for this episode. So, um, I really, really, the first time I watched this in the theater, it was just mind blowing and just a terrific, terrific film. And I feel the same way about it in this movie, this recent watch. Um, but we'll get ready to talk about it. So, first off, I was going to mention the original. Um, Zach,
Mhm.
I think me and you might have. I think we're the only ones who've seen the original. Edward, have you seen the original?
To my knowledge, no, but I
So,
could have seen part of it.
um, this is going to be the second. I'm going to say probably the fourth Western where I think, and please send me some hate mail, to where the remake completely blows the original out of the water.
Yeah, I totally agree. I honestly don't remember much about the original Magnificent Seven, but I do remember it just being like a very slow burn of a film. There were points of it that I don't know if I could have finished it, to be honest. But um, it is what it is. This one obviously has a lot more action than the original. But I understand why people like the original. It's kind of in that vein of like a John Wayne Western type thing. So, and this is the most funny thing about this film is this is a remake of a remake of a remake of Seven Samurai, which is like a hugely widely critically received film, which is basically the same plot line, only it's samurai,
Yeah,
samurais.
I still need to watch that. I bought that this past summer with the Criterion sale, and I want to see it, but I think it's a girthy. I think it's like almost 4 hours, isn't it?
No, no, it's I think it's about 2:30, 3 hours, so it's kind of in the
It's
middle.
327.
3:20. Yep, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I actually watched that on the Criterion app when it first came out. So
Is it a masterpiece like everybody says?
it's a really good movie. It's you kind of get why we have all these different Americanized remakes of it, but I don't know if I'd ever watch it again. But it's fun to see a film that's highly regarded as a masterpiece.
I didn't mention him in the cast and crew, but let's talk about it. The first time you meet Bartholomew, aka Peter Skarsgård, what'd you guys think of him as the villain?
Dick.
Scots are usually pretty good, man. I mean, so far they've been hitting pretty great ever since I seen Alexander Skarsgård and old man Skarsgård in the Pirates. Their name's been on the map for me, so this is just another one. It's great,
Yeah,
great, yeah.
I mean, Bogue is he's basically the first 12 minutes of this movie. He kind of rides into town, takes over the church, saying, "Hey, we're taking over your land, we're taking over your town. If you don't like it, too bad, deal with it." And you basically, I think the townsfolk has to pay like a taxes or something like that, and people try to run and they get killed. Saying basically, you are going to pay me whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Um, what did you guys think of the seven? Meeting the seven in this movie. Zach, do they mix well with you? If you want to go through all seven, you can.
Yeah. I really liked the intros to all the different 7 members. Chisholm, I thought was probably honestly the best. The fact that you really don't see Denzel Washington's face as he's riding to town until he actually gets into the saloon, takes out the guy behind the, um, not the desk, but the, help me out here, guys.
The bar at the
The
saloon.
bar. Yeah,
Yeah.
the bar at the saloon.
That
Fairway,
place, that place where you get shit faced.
yeah. Fairway, Chris Pratt's kind of sitting there drinking, playing cards. His was okay. Vasquez, Billy Rocks was a really cool intro where it's kind of like the draw. He has the knife, the other guy has the gun. Robuchet, which is Ethan Hawke's character, Jack Horn, who's Vincent D'Onofrio, and Red Harvest, who is the Cherokee Indian warrior. So
Yeah, I think he had a pretty good intro.
yeah, they're all kind of sitting there like in the canyons, and he kind of comes up. Denzel has to eat like the heart of a deer or something like that.
Right.
So I really like these characters. I think, if you don't, well, first off, it's a great casting, honestly, with Denzel, Chris Pratt. I know he's kind of in everything now, but I think he fits this role really good. Vasquez, Billy Rocks.
D'Onofrio, man,
The
that one
what?
was good. D'Onofrio,
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, Jack Horn. He's like a really weird version of like Rooster Cogburn or something like that. I don't know honestly how to describe him, but like it's very important to like not only make these characters likable, but like cast actors that not only can act in these roles, but like you want to root for. So,
You know what I loved about this movie though is it being shot on location, the wide
yes,
shots, the cinematography of this movie.
yes,
For a western, this movie feels, and I don't know why, but if some of the other western remakes can get some like Oscar nods, I wonder how come this one really didn't get much love.
it. You know how the Academy is. They don't like remakes. They
They
can
love
be as
True Grit,
yeah, but it's a remake, but it didn't win anything.
right? But I mean, it at least got welcomed in,
Yeah,
you know. And let's talk about that for a minute. It kind of really did surprise me that the budget was not probably where they wanted it to be. It only made $67 million technically.
yeah, and that it gross. What'd you say? Like $107 million budget?
$107 million budget, and then it only grossed 162 million.
Yeah, that it yeah, and that type of business model, that's a moderate success. I mean, it grossed worldwide. It made like 162 million. So technically, it got its budget back, but with the name cast, with like kind of a cool Western setting, you could tell this was going to be action packed. I agree with you, Johnny. I don't really know why this movie wasn't as a big of a hit as it should. I mean, when I did my box office rewind, I was going down the list. It was number 56 of the year
Yeah,
worldwide. So
it's very interesting, but I think this is the kind of movie I could have sworn. I mean, it's spoiler alert. Let's talk about the movie. I forgot Denzel lived in this movie.
yeah, I thought
Wasn't he in a western like movie that he died at the end?
mm, not to my knowledge. I think this is the only Western he's done. Because I know in the bonus features when they interviewed him, they said that's the reason why he did the film is because they don't do Westerns like this no more, and that he, was very eager to do something like this.
Um, but yeah, I thought
But
the wide shots and the cinematography was very very good. Um, Zach, we're just a few days away from season 5, but what'd you think of Luke Grimes in the
oh,
movie?
I forgot he was in this, and so when I
Yeah,
when I saw him, I was like, oh shit, Casey from Yellowstone.
your PP get hard a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But
Were
like,
you
I think honestly, this is probably the film that got him Yellowstone because he just fits in the Western genre so well.
He does.
were you possibly thinking Glory from '89?
Negative,
No,
negative, sir.
no, that's
No.
a war movie. No.
Um,
Well, I
but
mean,
what'd you
you
guys think
know,
of protecting the town or teaching the town how to shoot the guns? Some of those scenes. Did the
The
damn
what?
sure.
the montage of the montage of training the townsfolk to shoot and ride and everything. Is
Do
that
you?
cliche or do you guys enjoy it?
Well, I was gonna ask, did it feel like it
Both.
was trying to be too funny at certain times? Did you want it to be a little bit more serious than what it led on to being?
Eh, not really. I thought it was good. I mean, with how much which with how serious this movie was about to get in the final fight and all that, I think that was kind of a call for it. You know.
Well, I mean, when you have a group of like ragtag characters that are basically don't know each other until they start, learning their strengths and weaknesses, I think you have to have a little bit of comedy, like the rivalry between uh Fairway and Vasquez of like, oh, you got the most shots. Oh wait, let's go again, or let's who's the quick draw. That kind of rivalry between the two characters until finally you get to the end of the film where he basically saves Chris Pratt for a moment, and it kind of balances out the scales a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, and one thing I will say is that I liked Antoine Fuqua's attention to detail, like you said, Johnny, with the cinematography, even doing kind of like the close-ups of the different characters of like the old school quick draws of who's the quickest in the West and all this. I thought was kind of a nice paying respect to old Western films.
Zach, did you have any issues with like this movie
No, I
or
don't have any
Edward?
issues with this movie.
Any of the pacing go off to any of you guys, or maybe some of the way the characters were like? Did you get enough? Did you feel like you felt for most of those characters? Like, did you have enough backstory, or not backstory, but did you have enough character development to care about each one of them?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Whether you
I don't think you need a lot in this type of film. You just, you kind of just you get like I think Denzel has like the most character development, obviously, probably just because he's the main character,
right,
um but you only need like one or two sentences to say, okay, so I'm an outlaw. You help me free this town of these corrupt people. I won't hunt you down. That's all you need to know, you know. So
yeah. I almost kind of because four of them end up dying, right?
Horn, Goodnight, Billy, and Fairway. Yeah, four of them.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know. I kind of didn't mind the whole revenge story. I didn't. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I didn't love this movie like I thought I was going to going into it. I don't know.
I, I think I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question because I really haven't seen this movie probably in a year, maybe year and a half, and so on the rewatch for me, I was really invested in it. I thought the pacing was really, really fast. Like this movie's 2 hours and like 12 minutes
12 minutes.
long,
Yeah.
and it flew by real quick. Um, I just had like a fun time with it, and I just
They don't
I don't
make
know.
westerns like this anymore.
No,
Mm-mm.
they don't make
Not at all.
these fun westerns where that was you walk out of the theater and say, yeah, that was a cool 2 hours. I would say that again. You know,
Well, I
most of
mean,
the
not only
westerns
that.
now.
Go
No,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was about to say not only that, but the stakes were high. And I mean, some of the characters actually did have consequences. That there was like y'all said earlier, there was the rivalries and stuff like that, and each of them kind of trying not well, maybe not trying to show off, not each of them, but several different ones would try and show off their skills to the others or in front of the others and all that to try and prove or one-upsmanship in a way. But at the same time, there was that camaraderie and everything between some of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, there it had a lot of good elements to it. I mean, a lot of good elements for that matter. Yeah.
What do you guys think about Haley Bennett, who plays Emma, who kind of wrangles up? She wrangles up Denzel. Denzel wrangles up the rest of them. Do you think she's not in the movie that long, but I think when she's in the movie, I think she's she can take this. She can take the scene that
The
whoever
widow.
she's in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she played the perfect damsel in distress. I guess.
Yeah.
I would almost say she was probably just what the movie needed especially when it comes down to holding her own with those individuals acting wise.
Yes.
She could have just folded and just been like, "Up, you know,
It is a
they just
paycheck. You know.
yeah," or they just used her to save the budget.
Yeah.
But I think she did a really, really good job, and I think she held her own against a pretty good Magnificent Seven.
Mm-hmm.
So
The first when Denzel and when Chisholm and Billy Rocks goes into town and we have the first shootout between the two major sets of characters, I thought was a really fun. It's not going to be an easy takeover. We're gonna win this battle, but we don't know if we're gonna win the war type thing. And I thought it was a really cool. Everyone kind of comes out of the shadows and kind of stays their ground, and it was just a really fun sequence.
guys, if you want to get your copy and find some digital or some physical media of any Denzel movies, then go check out CDR Electronics. CDR Electronics is the best place to get your electronics. They have movies, games, cell phones, tablets, computers, TVs, anything you need to plug in and to keep going. Visit them locally here at 1604 West I-240 Service Road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Um, like I said, it's the best place to get all your physical media and your electronics. And don't forget to let them know that the Cinema Movie Podcast sent you. And that's exactly where you heard this ad from. Um, but man, yeah, I think the Magnificent Seven was just that in general. I mean, you have the cast, you got the crew, um, and this honestly didn't feel Denzelish like I thought it was going to. I don't know if you can use that word Denzelish. We might have just made a new T-shirt, but I dug the way he played Chisholm in this movie.
It
You know,
wasn't taken over, but he had a presence for sure, but it wasn't taken over, or
Do you-
his presence didn't
how
take
did
over.
well, how did you feel, Zach? I mean, that's a good point bringing that up, Ed. I kind of feel the same way, but I also feel like you can look at it from both ways. Like his presence wasn't well taken over, but again, we talked about it. I think Zach, we talked about it on the Bone Collector episode. The movie without Denzel, would it have still have been a good movie? Because the presence of him on the screen, he just demands you to stop what you're doing and watch what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, if this was, I don't know, like Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors or something like that, I still think this would have been a really fun movie. But I agree with you guys. Denzel, just anytime he's on screen, he just commands presence and he commands like your attention. But the funny thing is like the way you said it, Ed, is that how did you say it just a minute ago?
Basically, his presence was noticed, but it didn't
He
overtake everything. It wasn't him,
he
you
wasn't.
know.
Yeah, he wasn't. I think Denzel wasn't trying to be the badass of the movie. While he does have a lot of cool scenes in the movie, he's not. He's just kind of. I think his character is very reserved and kind of just takes a step back and kind of lets the other ones do their jobs
I was about to
until
say,
we
I
get
think he
to the end of the movie and it's revealed what the stakes really were for him against Bo.
I think
Bo.
he gave the spotlight with others very well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because at this time you've got an up and coming Chris Pratt that's been around the block. He knows the game, but now he's really got a foothold and it such as making kind of little pokes at him with the $100 million man kind of thing and all that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's making pokes making pokes from Denzel Washington. Like,
Right. But
that's hardcore praise.
I'm gonna disagree with you, man, because by this point, Chris Pratt, he had already had Guardians, he had Jurassic World the year prior, and so I think he was already a name recognition.
Well, what I'm saying, or what I meant by that, was that like he just is like getting his foothold, like he's getting in there and being that guy, to where Denzel has been that guy.
That. Right.
He is still that guy, but has been that guy. It's like Leo, you know what I mean? It's like the same thing comparing Chris Pratt to Leonardo DiCaprio. Chris Pratt's that guy, but Leo's been that guy.
Yeah.
Well,
to where like Vincent Dion.
I kind of see where you're going, that Chris Pratt is about to be that guy, but I would still disagree. I think he's being typecasted like a Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no, yeah.
And his name might sell, but I don't think he is, and I don't think he ever will be that guy. I don't think he ever will be a box office draw. Like,
he won't be Tom Cruise. He'll never. I don't think he'll ever get to that status.
Well, I don't even think he'll get to. I don't know. I just think he's being too typecasted. He signs up for whatever he can get his hands on.
I mean, his next films are obviously the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I'm still
different.
Yeah. Guardians 3 is next year, and then in 2024 he's voicing Garfield. They're doing a remake of Garfield. And then the Electric State, which I guess it's him and Millie Bobby Brown. So I don't really know what that is.
I wouldn't mind seeing him. I know we hated this movie, but I wouldn't mind seeing him doing something. I think what he did in Jurassic World, to where he was a little bit more serious. That's his more serious role.
Yeah.
In Jurassic World 1, 2, and 3. Those are his more serious roles. But he is still like playing.
He's still goofy though.
Yeah.
He's still goofy, Chris Pratt. Ed, I would agree with you on that. I would actually kind of like to see him but act alongside Leo. Kind of do a movie like with Leonardo DiCaprio and see how that would work out.
I mean,
he would still be typecasted. He'd be in a movie where he's like the dumb high friend. Like, he would be Jonah Hill.
That's what I was gonna say. If this was Wolf of Wall Street, he'd be Jonah Hill's character.
I mean, it's not like Once Upon a Time to where you've got Brad Pitt going with Leo, and Brad Pitt's got his own suave about him, to where Leo's got his sophistication and all of that.
Yeah, but I don't even think you can compare that, because at least in Brad Pitt can be that goofy actor, but then he can do something like 7 or 12 Monkeys and be something completely different.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, though. I don't think it would.
Chris Pratt has yet to sign up for something like that.
I don't think it would necessarily be something like that, because Brad Pitt holds his own against a lot of people. To where like Chris Pratt can, but under certain circumstances.
But I mean, out of all, and we can bring this up. Out of all the Chris's, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, he's probably the most like on the bottom, because you have Chris Pine is probably number one just because all the different things he can do. Chris Evans, I think he has much more range than Hemsworth. Hemsworth kind of plays like the same character, kind of the big, badass type thing, and Chris Pratt he's the funny one out of the group. I think.
I would even argue that like Chris Evans has, because I mean, they're wrong. Like how most of us probably met him was not another teen movie. Yeah. Banana on his ass with whipped cream covering most of him and that.
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen? Oh, you do hate parody kind of deals.
Parodies movies.
I forgot about that. Sorry, that's true. But I mean, that's where a lot of us met him. To where most people have met him from, Captain America or one of the.
But Chris Pine, movies. He can do something like Wonder Woman, but then in the same year or the next year, he can do Star Trek. He can do Hell or High Water.
Let me see the first Chris Evans movie I've seen. This is going to be kind of interesting now.
I think the first one I've seen is the first Fantastic Four. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, then you've got someone like Vincent D'Onofrio who's kind of played big characters, but has never been big. And some people, he goes under the radar for a lot of people, for that matter. Because the first movie I ever remember him in was being Gomer Pyle, from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
the same thing, Zach. Fantastic Four.
Yeah. But, so I mean, there's that. And then Ethan Hawke, with like, I think he fits the Western role pretty well, to be honest.
He does, because I think he was also in The Kid.
Yeah, he was in The Kid, and I think wasn't he one with John Travolta, whatever that one is.
Saturday Night Western Light. Saturday Night Westerns, right?
Oh,
No,
God,
I'm
you
just messing with you.
like
Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this. I watched SNL with Amy Schumer this past weekend. Terrible.
what?
I wanted to blow my eyes out. I don't know why I wasted 40 minutes of my life.
For hope.
If Thanos
For
could
hope.
come, if Thanos could come back and just wipe her clean, I'd appreciate it.
I don't know if he wants that job.
But yeah, no, honestly, in all seriousness, I wish if I could pick an underrated actor in this Magnificent Seven movie, dude, I don't know where the love continues to get. We talked about him with the Black Phone. Dude, Ethan Hawke is tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people want to throw some light on Vincent D. I know a lot of people want to say Denzel, but if we're taking Denzel out of this too, like, man, Ethan Hawke can go. And I know
Yep.
you guys, Edward, you brought up Chris Pratt about how he can go with anybody. I would okay. That's your pick. I wouldn't say that, but I would say
No, I didn't
I
say that.
I would say that Ethan Hawke is probably the second best actor in this entire movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think every single role that he's in, even if it's an independent film that nobody sees, like The Kid, man, he's top notch. And I think he should do more stuff like
Dude, Black Phone, he killed it.
yeah.
Unintended, but still.
I mean, I was kind of disappointed by that movie, but his performance makes that movie.
Dude, 100%. No, I said Chris Pratt can go under certain circumstances.
He can't even go under certain circumstances. Yeah.
But I mean, no, as far as this movie, to me, the highlight for me would be Ethan Hawke. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Denzel, obviously, it's Denzel. But as far as any of the other ones go, my pick would have been Ethan Hawke.
You take the GOAT out of the equation, what do you got? It's probably Ethan Hawke. Would be second in line.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to see Vincent's character. I would have liked to seen him a little bit more serious.
Yeah, he's kind of more of like
he's a jokester.
Hillbilly
yeah.
ranger or something.
You know what another movie I enjoyed Ethan Hawke in was Boyhood.
Oh, he's phenomenal in Boyhood. And even the Before trilogy. Yep.
Not A24.
Criterion Cell.
I already got it. Not A24, but A24 vibes. Speaking of A24, I didn't write this down earlier, guys, but did you guys hear about the prequel series, Friday the 13th, produced by A24?
Yeah, Crystal Lake or whatever it is.
And then it's going to be, I think it's an Apple TV Plus thing.
Now, Johnny, you have to break down and get Apple TV.
I know. But man, what a day and age that we're living in, where Friday the 13th and A24 can just have a baby together.
Jennifer Lawrence has a new A24 movie out right now on Apple TV Plus. I need to watch. So
I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah, Causeway, I think it's called.
Causeway.
There's so much shit to watch.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is a little town in Mexico, right? Or no, that's Cozumel.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's got like 10 hate mails right now.
But getting back to the movie, what'd you guys think of the night before, where Ethan Hawke has the talk with Denzel and he tries to leave town, and he does leave town. What we think?
I mean, it makes sense. I like how we kind of lose one of the seven right before the big battle, and you don't really know if that's going to have a negative effect, a positive effect, because he kind of starts having like, I guess it's like PTSD, like, or kind of like withdrawal from violence, because I guess he was in the Civil War, and Billy kind of defends him, says no, the gun was jammed during that town shootout, so I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I like it. I think it was a good creative decision, and for him to just kind of burst onto the scene right in the middle of the battle, I thought was kind of a cool decision.
Guys, before you go see Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever, fill up on some Red and Blues Pizza, 4500 South May Avenue, or give them a call at 405-602-2838. Check them out. They're open 7 days a week. Pizzas, hot wings, gyros, salads, sandwiches, hamburger pizza. Go check them out. They have everything for everybody. If you're not a big pizza fan, they have sandwiches. And like we said, and don't forget to let Myra know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you, and you heard their ad right here on the podcast. It's the only pizza that we eat. It's the best pizza, honestly, on this side of town, and for your dollar, it's really really good stuff. So it's always made fresh. It never sits under a hot light, and it's never hot and ready. You're gonna wait for fresh pizza, and you're gonna enjoy every single bite. So go check them out, Red and Blues Pizza. It's the only pizza of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. So you know, Good Night leaves the morning of. What do you guys think of the final finale, the final fight, and pretty much the deaths and the ending?
I thought, overall, I thought it was a really good finale. I thought the whole entire fight sequence was really well shot. It made sense of who gets killed off. Like I said, going in, I really thought that Denzel would be kind of like the last one to go, or kind of sacrifice himself like Faraday did, or something like that. Um, but it's just really fun, and I think everyone, honestly, like the best thing about it is that everyone has their moment to shine during this final battle. I think so.
Yeah, and for a 2 hour and 12-minute movie, I really do think the pacing of this movie, it's fun, and it just kind of flies by, honestly, if you're just, because you look up and 40 minutes go by and
Yeah,
boom, they I like the ending too. I think you don't need a big payoff when it comes to a western like this. Um, but I do think it was a fun ending, and I like the way they sent the four off, like with the crosses and the little graves and stuff.
and they're like little knickknacks, like of the card and and the knives and the axe and stuff.
A little cliche, but it was okay.
Yeah.
Gotta have some cheesiness in there,
Would you guys like to see Antoine Fuqua attempt another western, or what would you guys, since we are talking about him today, he was the top five subject. What would you like to see him do next?
I wouldn't mind another Western simple like this. I mean, honestly, well, I mean, not exactly, of course,
Because
but similar.
he's had some hit and misses. He's had more misses lately than hits. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to him of doing another western. I think he did really good with this one.
The next time he works with Denzel will be Equalizer 3, correct?
Yes, and he actually has a movie this year, Emancipation, and that's Will Smith's movie that's supposed to come out on Apple TV Plus.
Is that still this year?
Yep, it's slated for December the 9th. Oh, and Johnny Ben Foster's going to be in it. So he's gonna have to watch it now.
God damn it.
You might as well just like break down and get
Oh,
Apple TV Plus, because there's like so much stuff coming out.
You know what I ended up doing was, when it comes to like stuff like Infinite, I know that's not Apple, that was Paramount, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully
that came out on Blu-ray, didn't it?
it did. I bought it.
I don't know why'd you do that, but okay.
Hopefully, I would like to see Apple TV. It's been 11 months. Where's the Tragedy Macbeth at, man?
Yeah,
It's a tragedy.
Yeah, there
And
you go.
I need that on some kind of physical media. So, but other than that, guys,
Ed, you got a fight going on back there? Or?
let's get into a favorite scene. Ed, you want to go first? What was your favorite scene of the movie?
Um, kind of the walk in of the first gunfight with Billy and Chisholm. Just kind of bad at you just going through the town. You've got just everybody everywhere. It's kind of a reminiscence on the old school gunfighter cliche kind of thing, but it even had like a Tombstone feel to it in a way.
Yeah.
But that one that was pretty cool. That was that walk in, just riding. He's just chilling, just yeah, that was cool.
I enjoyed meeting. If I had to pick a favorite scene, I would pick the Comanche scene. Um, and throughout the movie, I don't know, this isn't a bad comparison, but I enjoy the overall Wizard of Oz feeling going through the Yellow Brick Road, meeting the next one.
Yeah.
If I can use those terms, I just enjoy movies like that where hey, there's four of us or there's five of us, and the main character goes through the town, meeting and gathering up everybody. Um, but I did like the Comanche part.
I don't
Zach, what
know.
about
I didn't know how you were going to salvage that with comparing this to the Wizard of Oz, but okay,
you
I see
liked it,
your
right?
side of it. Yeah.
See, um, Zach, what about you? Would you have a favorite scene?
Um, I'm gonna agree with Ed. Probably the town shootout with at first Chisholm and then Billy and then the rest of the gang. Um, really the whole like you said, and agreeing with you, Johnny, just bringing in the seven one at a time and kind of getting like their little intros. I thought was that was really well done.
Makes the movie go by super quick
Yeah.
because it's just a different feeling.
Yeah.
Um, all right, guys. First Denzel movie of the month. One down, two to go. Um, Star rating for Magnificent Seven. Edward, we'll start with you.
Of course, you start with me. Uh Man, I'm gonna have to go ahead and throw a 7 at it. Throw a 7 at it. Like it quite a bit. Definitely would watch it again. So
I'm gonna go the same. I'm gonna go 7 for the Magnificent Seven. Um, I enjoy this movie. I don't think a 7 is a bad rating by all means. Um, I had really no issues with the movie. The reason I'm just not completely in love with it is because maybe I could. It's not going to be my go-to Denzel or my go-to Antoine Fuqua movie. If I had to base it off of those two alone, so I'm gonna go with 7. Zach, what about you?
I this is probably going to be very call it cliche, call it overthinking, call it whatever you want. I'm going to give it a 10. I really
Nice.
really enjoy this. I really enjoy this movie. Um, and I'll just go ahead and say it. It'll be in my Denzel top 5 plus 5 because I just think it's one of the when I think of Denzel, this is one of the ones I go to. So
Nice, nice. Everybody, let us know your star rating. Let us know some of your favorite Denzel movies. Start sending in those top 5 or top 10 Denzel movies, and we're gonna start rating them off. December looks girthy.
did you get my text?
I
We're doing all girthy movies, and our Denzel episode will probably be girthy. So, Avatar, guys, Avatar: Way of the Water is 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
which will be fine. So
who
for
cares?
for the rest of November, guys, next week we're gonna be talking Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. November 21st, we're gonna be talking The Hurricane with Denzel. November 28th, Denzel's Man on Fire. And then December the 5th, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. December the 12th, the 25th anniversary of Titanic. December 19th, Avatar 2, The Way of Water. And then December 26th, the day after Christmas, we give you the greatest Christmas gift of all time. We give you the top 5 plus 5 Denzel movies. Uh, our Denzel episode. Can you believe it? We started in January with the tragedy Macbeth, we finish in December with Denzel's top 5+5. It just
It only seems right.
seems right. Seems like it's going to be a fun way to end the year. Um, what do you guys think next week? Zach, when are you going to go see Wakanda Forever?
Right now, I'm scheduled to go see it Friday night. So
Edward,
When your boy can.
when the boy can.
same.
So 5 minutes. You'll be out of the theater 5 minutes before we start the show.
Same with me. I think it's going to be a fun weekend. I think it'll be a good movie. Should be an emotional roller coaster. Next week, that's what we're talking about. Um, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Uh, Man, I think there it is. You
It's
know,
kind of hard to believe we're already there.
it's the last Marvel movie of the year. Wakanda Forever. I think it should be fun. Do you guys have any? Do you guys have any thoughts before next week?
Fantasy
Shuri.
booking.
Christmas. Christmas is almost here.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Thanks to you, Johnny, because you sent that your radio of you're listening to Christmas music. We put the lights up this weekend, so
Good
Oh
for you.
God.
That was
So-
Craig, by the way. That was Craig.
Let the turkey be carved first, buddy.
You know what? I think it needs to be a little bit colder for me to start decorating for Christmas. I wish we could get some colder weather, but this weekend we're gonna get some cold weather.
oh, we're gonna get some cold weather.
Burr. Burr.
So I'm excited, guys. Man, it's been an honor. It's been an honor today to share this screen, this podcast, this show with you, to talk the Magnificent Seven, Denzel. I can't wait, and I think we're gonna find some way, somehow, to sprinkle a little Denzel even next week when we talk Black Panther 2. But you know, on our way to Black Panther 2, is there any nail in the coffin or anything you guys want to add before we cement the nail in the coffin for the Magnificent Seven?
Go check it out. You'll have a fun time with it. So,
Edward?
Nah, man. I mean, I'd like it. Like it a lot. A lot. So
Go
yeah,
check out some more. Go check out some more Denzel movies. Enjoy and have a safe weekend this weekend when you go see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And remember, no spoilers. And we'll see you guys next week, next Monday, November 14th, right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast as we talk Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever.